Okay everyone, welcome back. So in this part of the guide I'm going to go through how to adjust the actual head itself, so the model, the jaw, the side of the face, whilst making sure that it looks natural. So the first thing I'm looking at, the first thing that I'm thinking, well, this is really out of shape, really out of place, is the neck. So the neck's coming out here, as you can see. What we want to do is we want to pull that back in just so the neck's smaller than the jaw. So you just put it in like that, and maybe mess around with the vertices at the bottom so that it's more straight. Obviously, it's really up to your character and how they look, but really the neck needs to be smaller than the jaw itself, unless you're like that big neck dude. So anyway, moving on from that, we fixed the neck up real quick. And we're just looking at the ears next. I find that the ears are usually way too big on the GTA models, but obviously again that's preference. Your character might have really huge ears or whatever. I just like to make them smaller. I think it looks cleaner. I think it looks a lot better having them smaller. But again, personal preference. Maybe your character's fucking out here looking like Dumbo, right? So the next thing I'm kind of peering at and looking for is kind of these bits at the edge. So some faces, some heads obviously have kind of this area protruding. But me, I want my character to have a skinnier kind of side of the head. So I'm going to pull that in. I'm not going to keep it like that. I'm going to pull it in. I'm going to find a kind of spot where it looks good. I'm going to move it around just to make sure that I haven't pulled it out. Sometimes you might look and it might look like that, right? Chances are you fucked up somewhere along the line and just need to kind of go back and either pull it back in like this, make sure it looks straight, or even just Alt Z, right? So once you've figured out how you want the side of your head to be, we're going to move on to what I'd say is actually one of the really defining features of a head, right? And that's the jaw. That's like the main area which I think really helps define what somebody's like. And especially on models, because this area of the head, this kind of bottom quarter, bottom third even, is really going to change what the character's kind of like looking like, right? And I've said that before, but what I mean by that is you can either lower this area here, maybe give him a double chin if he's really fat, or you can actually make it smaller, make it go up a little bit, reduce the size of this. Maybe if they're a kid, you'll pull this in like that. Obviously that looks a bit collapsed, but maybe pull that in and maybe he's just skinny or got a smaller face and still developing, right? So those are all just ideas as to what you can do. But what I'm gonna do is I've had a little thought about this. I've looked at it for a sec, and I'm thinking, well, I'm gonna make the head a little rounder at the bottom, and I'm gonna make the jaw protrude a little out more. So I'm gonna be careful not to select this vertex back here. I'm just gonna select that. Actually, I'll go in a little closer just to be a little more precise. I'm gonna select that one, and I'm going to select this and these ones. So I'm gonna pull those out like so. Obviously we don't want to pull them out too far. I'm just gonna raise them a little bit. Oh, not that one. I'm gonna raise these two a little bit and see how that looks. So obviously you're gonna want to play around with this, right? This isn't something that I mean, it might take a minute if you're happy with it. If you're like, oh yeah, I'm happy with how this looks, well, that's fine. Get straight on with it and move on to the next part. I'll play around with it for a while. This can really change how somebody looks, right? If I wanted to make my character fat, as I say, I'd probably reduce this bit on the Photoshop. On the Photoshop TXT, I would maybe remove this bit of the beard and add in a double chin or something along those lines. So, they're just ideas as to what you can do, right? This is something that you can really play around with and really express your creativity with. I'm going to raise those up a little bit, and I'm actually going to try and make this a little rounder. I'm going to reduce this so that the chin isn't too far up. So I'm just going to select those and pull it down, see if that looks cool. I think that looks okay. I like that. And there we go. So that's what I think I'm going to roll with. I mean, we can again continue playing around with this little vertex here. Pull it up again. Obviously you don't want to make it look too weird like that, putting that in just going to make it look real fucking weird, right? So that's what I'll do, right? I'm going to keep it like that. I'm pretty happy with how that is. Nah, I think the jaw's way too square like that. So I'm going to roll with this, I think. I'm relatively okay with how that's turned out. So yeah, just have a quick look around. Make sure that obviously, as I said before, you haven't pulled something out that doesn't need to be pulled out.